Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Universe. I am Aaron St. Dennis. Follow me everywhere at FF Mad Scientist, joined by Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05 and Jeremy Schulman at FF_Rebel. And I gotta say, this is throwing me completely off. I'm not used to being the one on the right. I got into the lobby last, so I've been demoted to the right side of the screen, and it's fucking completely throwing me off here. But we are here for Week 3 AFC home game previews. I got to tell you, we spent the entire offseason saying, I can't wait to get into football. We're 3 weeks in, and I've got a couple of teams who want to go back to the preseason. Can I get a do-over?
It's rough. It's rough. We're first fight for our life out here.
I think is it the Warrior Bowl, the Rainbow Bowl, one where I'm the first in my division, and I'm like the 4 seed overall. And I'm like, this fucking team I'm killing it. And then I looked and I'm like, CMC, that's not great. Brandon Ayuk, not great. Like 4 other players who got put on IR this week. I'm like, this is a mirage. This is a number 4 seed that's gonna end up 90th seed. So
yep.
We are gonna get started with let me write these down. Thursday night football. Patriots, Jets. Oh boy, what a doozy to start with. It's funny, we've got a really weird schedule. So we have the Thursday nighter and 2 Monday nighters on this because there's 2 Monday nighters, a 7:30 and an 8:30. Don't know why, and they're both AFC home games. But we'll start with the Jets and the Patriots. And before we do that, I'm going to get completely selfish here because I have a lineup conundrum myself. So you can answer my fucking sit-start question, motherfucker. All right. So this is a league where I have what looks to be a loaded team. I'm first overall. And it should be a loaded wide receiving core, but I only mention this because one of them is Garrett Wilson and a bunch of underperforming receivers. So I have to start 3 out of the 4. Garrett Wilson against the Patriots, J-Mo against the Cards, Shaheed against the Eagles, Ayuk against the Rams. Is it weird that I'm considering, right now I have Ayuk on the bench, but I'm thinking, should I bench Wilson?
Consideration.
I don't know how I feel, but I don't think I have the strength to do that myself. But is
it weird that Shaheed and J-Mo seem to be the must start out of the 4?
Yeah, like J-Mo's usage is like top 6 in the NFL. Shaheed's is like top 30, but like, dude, J-Mo's usage is absurd. Like, I can't bench J-Mo right now. Like, it's ridiculous.
So who do I bench?
Yeah, you can't bench Shaheed right now either. And I agree with you. You're going to consider benching Wilson, but I think, unfortunately, the answer is probably Ayuk. The problem with benching Ayuk is Deebo Samuel's out, Christian McCaffrey's out.
I know.
And so it's really, really hard to sit him. But it could just be a ton of Mason and Kittle like it has been.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilson gets a bad matchup, though. Like, we're going to talk about that. That's why I brought it up, because our first game is Patriots Jets. And, like, it's a bad matchup for Wilson. Everything in me says bench Wilson and play Ayuk. Except I'm not sure I've got the stones to do it. That's the problem. I don't know if I physically have enough courage to do this.
Fair.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I feel
all right. Okay, we've who would have thought that 3 weeks in, J-Mo and Shaheed were the must start. But anyways, so we've got the quarterbacks here. Neither am I really looking to start. We've got Rodgers and Brissett. The relevant running backs, we've got Stevenson, Breece Hall, and then Braylon Allen. Not sure how relevant Braylon Allen is. I seen him go for like 75% on the waiver wire in some leagues. I'm not sure why. Garrett Wilson, as we just talked about, a whole collection of guys between the 2 wide receiving cores here. I don't know what to think. Hunter Henry, Tyler. Like, this is a messy game with 2 above average defenses. Okay. I think you have to start Breece Hall. I'm probably must starting with Stevenson and Wilson. But like I said with Wilson right now, it's scenario based. Where do we even begin here? This game's got a lot of questions and 2 really good defenses and 2 messy offenses.
Yeah, I was telling Jeremy off screen, like, Ramondre Stevenson has the highest expected points per game in the league. I think only Saquon Barkley, a running back, has higher expected points per game than Ramondre. So, like, his usage is off the charts. You got to play him. Like, I get it. It's a bad matchup, but you have to have some really good running backs to consider benching him just because of the way the Patriots are deploying him. Like, he's their entire offense. So, yeah, like, I'm firing both these guys up if I have them. I get it. Like, it's an ugly game. These quarterbacks are kind of the issue. We'll talk about that later. But it's outside those guys and Garrett Wilson. Like, there's not really anybody you want to play. I mean, maybe Hunter Henry. I guess you could do Hunter Henry.
Dobbins in a mid to late 2025 for a top 5.
Why would somebody do this? Okay, like this is a fantastic deal for you, Jamie, but like, why would someone make this deal on the other side? Like, I don't understand why people like this is what I'm talking about with Dobbins. Like, people are getting out of control with how they view him.
Yes, they are.
Like people who are
like, you give me an early second or one of those players, and I am fine. Like, partying.
Well, it's people who think they're in win now and assume that because he was awesome in 2 weeks, he's going to be the exact same for the rest of it. But these situations never last.
He's like splitting work down the middle, not getting goal line carries, no passing game usage. I'm like, how the freak is this guy going to be a top 12 running back? Like, it's just really difficult for him. Like, I love him.
I'll take it. That's one of those situations where even if you can't afford to lose Dobbins in your starting lineup, you probably do it anyways for the top 5 pick. But
100%.
Should I trade Achane for Engram? Achane and Engram for Bijan and Kittle? Engram's hurt. I don't think you can make this deal though. I don't think the Bijan owner is going to give him up for an injured running back in Achane.
Well, is it?
If you can do it, I prefer the Bijan side, but
yeah, I think the difference.
Hobbled, but he's still playing.
Yeah, he's playing. Like, we just saw his usage. Like, it really like I'm surprised they're buying Engram. That's the weird thing for me because he's the one that's hurt and like didn't play last week and is dealing with injury. So it seems weird. I think it's buying high on Achane and selling low on Bijan, I guess. But like, they're similar players to me.
That's what I mean, though. I want Bijan and Kittle. Like, Bijan Kittle side is getting the 2 better players, I think. So I don't know if you can get that deal through.
I think the Kittle side.
Yeah, and especially with Debo out for at least a month here, I definitely want Kittle for that stretch. Ingram, who knows what's going to happen? That offense just looks bad right now in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
the guy's second running back was Pierre Strong. That's still an overpayment. This is where like I let J.K. Dobbins, Carson Steele, Jordan Mason. Those are guys where I want to pay up heavily on the waiver wire. But I'm not giving up a proven asset off my roster. Like, I'll give you 70% for Jordan Mason off my waiver wire, but I'm not giving you a first-round pick next year for him. Like, I get it. These hot names, even Dobbins. Like, I would have fucking spent all my fab budget on him. Not giving you a first-round pick for him.
That's crazy.
People overpay.
Oh, for sure.
So back to this game, we got. I don't think. Neither quarterback is making it in. I get Superflex. We're going to disregard. Superflex is a different monster. Single QB. I know Brissett's probably your last ranked guy. Rodgers, it's got to be a hell of a bad scenario. Like last week, I stacked him. I started him in a Superflex because I had Garrett Wilson and I wanted to stack him in that league. He's on my bench firmly now for Geno every single fucking week. And I'm not even, I'm not considering it until they turn it around.
100%. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, I think I have Rodgers at maybe 26 this week. Like, I don't want to start Rodgers in this matchup. Like, the Patriots defense is still like they got some good players. It's competent. It's not that bad. So we've seen their offense struggle. They'll probably struggle again this week. So
but this could be 10-6 this game, could it not?
Yeah.
Legitimate?
Yeah, probably should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know what's the weather even. That could be even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to look. The problem we got some bangers this week with this game and the game we'll talk about later, which is Steelers Titans. But yeah, or whatever it is. It's not even Titans, it's Chargers, so it's worse. But easy. Yeah, the issue here is you were mentioning people paying up for Braylon Allen. The reason they're paying up on the wire is because the Jets just don't throw the ball. Aaron Rodgers has proven that he's going to milk the clock on every single play down to like 3, 2, 1 seconds on the play clock. They just run so slow there. Braylon Allen right now is probably the best handcuff in fantasy because if Brees goes down, Braylon steps right into a massive workload with a good defense. They're going to be in games. He's probably the number one guy you want stashed on your bench in case of a Brees injury. But yeah, he's just a stash right now. You can't play him.
I get stashing him, but he had 7 carries and 4 targets. He was worthwhile last week because he scored 2 touchdowns. Jets aren't going to score 2 touchdowns total most games, let alone him. It's a situation where I'm willing to stash him, but I don't want to pay. Like I seen 75% of my fab budget in not mine, but people's budgets. I'd rather pay. Like I seen him going for 70% and Carson Steele going for 10%. Carson Steele's going to get starts. Braylon Allen's an elite handcuff, but he's still a handcuff. So I'm not paying up. He was a guy where if I could go in and bid on him for 10, I'll take him. But like, you're probably going to still be leaving him on your bench after dropping all your fab on him. You're not playing him this week in this matchup. So
you're not playing him as long as Brees is healthy. Like you're just not going to do it.
Receivers on both teams, is it Garrett Wilson or bust? Like, do you want to start Lazard? Do you have any interest in any Patriot?
No. Like, Polk's the best Patriot wide receiver, but like he's not getting enough targets to be fantasy viable. So I think like with those wide receivers until Drake May comes in, like I'm not starting a Patriots wide receiver. It just is what it is. Like Brissett is just not good enough to elevate these guys. So it's kind of they're just going week by week, just trying to survive. And so I'm not starting a Patriots wide receiver.
All right, let's move on. The tight ends are what they are. They're desperation options. If you have to start them, you start them. I don't really want either. We're taking too long. Giants at Browns. That's what Jeremy's messaging me in the private comments. Apparently he agrees we're taking too fucking long. So Giants and Browns, we spent way too long on a potential 10-6 game. So we have more ugly quarterback options here that are really only options in Superflex, Watson and Jones. The running backs in this seem to be losing value by the week in Ford and Singletary. We have a collection, I guess, of interesting receivers, 2 startable ones, I think. And then the tight ends, if David Njoku is healthy.
We need it.
I guess the running backs are the most interesting. Ford and Singletary, I think they're RB3s for me at this point. They seem to both be losing work. Like Foreman was really involved last week. Where do you have Ford and Singletary? That's probably the best place to start.
Let's see. Where do you have them, Jeremy? Because I need to pull.
Good. I'm scrolling. Ford is like a back end RB2. It's looking like he's RB24 at the moment. Singletary is unfortunately worse. It's just because of that Cleveland defense. So he's kind of mid-range RB3 for me, even though he's getting the work. He looked better last week, but of course he was playing Washington and he didn't look nearly as good as we thought he would, especially production-wise. He almost got 100 yards and a touchdown, but that wasn't fantastic for, his fantasy production. So he's not really getting it done in the passing game. I'd prefer Jerome Ford here, obviously, but Singletary for me is probably a sit.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Like the usage for Ford terrifies me. Because they give Foreman a ton of work, and in a game like this where they're expected to they're 6-point favorites, that's pretty heavy favorites. So they're more than likely going to be in positive game scripts throughout, which means Foreman's more than likely going to be involved again. So that's what we're. So I think either one of those running backs you're shooting for a touchdown from Ford or from Foreman. If you can get it, cool. I just think we're in like the RB 30 to 35 range. Like it's okay, but you need the touchdown for them to really be viable. Unless Ford gets some targets, which I don't know. Njoku comes back, like that changes things a lot. So I'm kind of waiting to see on Njoku. The tight end position needs it, man. Like we need tight end so desperately. So come back, Njoku, please.
Yeah, the quarterbacks, I don't think either or any of us are looking to start either of these guys outside of super flex desperation situations. The wide receivers, I think we're all agreed we're starting 2. Cooper's probably a 2-3. Neighbors is bordering on a 1. I actually I won't name names. I seen someone yesterday that has Malik Neighbors now as their wide receiver 1 in dynasty rankings. I'm not that in. I think he's a borderline 1-2 for me. He's not my wide receiver 1 though. What do you guys think of Neighbors and Cooper?
Neighbors is incredible. Like you play Neighbors no matter what. Like it just it is what it is. Cooper, like they got to figure it out with Cooper, man. Like that. It's been
Daniel Jones as your quarterback. Can you really rank him wide receiver 1?
You just saw what he did week 1 and week 2. Like the guy, like it doesn't matter. He seems pretty quarterback proof. And I know we say that about certain players, but like we've talked about Garrett Wilson, Drake London having issues. Malik Neighbors has had 0 issues with Daniel Jones as his quarterback so far. So
it was Washington.
Yeah, no, he was still good week 1 though. Like he wasn't.
Well,
bad.
He was okay. It was 10 points against Minnesota. But
I think we saw the more ceiling outcome from him last week, similar to Marvin Harrison Jr. Like most weeks, like I'm fine making him like a top 12-ish wide receiver. And if it's a good matchup, you could boost him higher. It's just the usage is out of control. Like if you're giving any wide receiver that usage similar to Cooper Kupp, like you got to find those guys in your lineup. Like it's just too valuable.
Yeah, it was like a 55% target share last week for Neighbors. So 60, so ridiculous, right? 18 targets any week. I don't care who you are. I can't push him into the top 12. He's my third wide receiver 13 this week, just because the Cleveland secondary is so good. But he's still going to see double-digit targets guaranteed.
Well, like I said, I still have him as a wide receiver 1. I think he's 11 or 12 for me. This told me more. It told me less about how good he is, which we kind of knew. It told me more about start everyone against the fucking Commanders is kind of the point. Like, they're awful. I don't really think is there anything else in this game. Like we spoke on Njoku. If he's healthy, you're starting him in line to practice Wednesday with an ankle. You gotta hope he's healthy. I'm not really at this point. I think the Giants tight ends are useless. Is there anybody in this game worthwhile? Like I know Wandale had 12 targets, then it went to 4. Judy doesn't seem to be like he's getting 6 targets. I think he's if you need a flex due to injury. Like he's got 12 and 12 points in both weeks here. He's going to get you 4, 5, 6 catches for 50 yards. You hope he gets a touchdown, but like there's no upside there. It's a desperation injury. Is there anyone else really you guys want to talk about in this one? It's not really exciting.
I'm with you. If Njoku doesn't play, I'm fine flexing Judy. Like I think you could work that in your lineup, but I'm out.
Yeah, the Amari Cooper stuff is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, he's being used. He's running routes. I mean, part of that is Deshaun Watson. I think you just got to keep flexing him. You can't really rely on him as your wide receiver 2 right now, but you got to keep flexing Amari, especially against a pretty below average Giants team.
For me, it looks like Watson looks like he's too stressed out there and he's under too much pressure and he needs to just relax in the pocket. If ever a guy was in need of a massage, is it not Deshaun Watson? Like, why can't he just go get a massage and feel better?
Listen, poor guy. They've been warned in Cleveland.
So much sympathy. I could see the sympathy just coming right out there. All right.
Well, listen, wait. Sorry. Before we go on, next 3 weeks, Giants, Raiders, Commanders for the Cleveland Browns. So it'll happen at some point for these Browns.
Trade for Amari Cooper.
Listen, I think you should. Like, he's the legit buy low, I think. Because look at the sentiment we just got across from Jamie. Like, he's talking about he's giving up on him. So that shows you, like, Cooper's a good wide receiver. We saw it last year. Like, it will come around. You just have to be patient. So don't give up on him, Jamie. Just throw him on your bench if you're worried about it. But I would not, like, get rid of him or anything like that.
Okay.
All right.
Wait a few weeks.
Packers and Titans. Where the hell is this one? Is this a late game or did I miss it here? I'm trying. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Sleeper has Jordan Love. I don't think it is Jordan Love. I know he's not on IR, but he's still not practicing. So I'm assuming it's Malik Willis in a fucking revenge game. How embarrassing is that going to be when Malik Willis plays Will Levis? Oh my Lord, brutal.
Oh man.
Do we have to, Malik Willis, Will Levis. Anybody got anything to say here? Can we just put these guys to bed and move on?
I might start Malik Willis over Will Levis this week, just FYI. So that's where I'm out with Will Levis. No, thank you. Except for the memes. He's got glorious memes. But that's about it.
I can tell you
where the photos of him like diving and making these like ridiculous motions on his turnovers are hilarious.
I can tell you I'm happy that one of my most rostered running backs is Josh Jacobs because they put Marshawn Lloyd on IR and the backup is Emmanuel Wilson and he's going to get 50 carries this game. Pollard and Spears, I think Pollard's an RB 2-3 borderline here, maybe a 2.
Yeah. And
then Spears is kind of a hold at this point. Anything here to say about the running backs?
Yeah, like you fire Jacobs, you know what you're getting. You're getting 20 plus carries. You just fire him up.
Yeah.
Anything for Pollard Spears? Sorry, go ahead.
Not really. You can start Pollard. I wouldn't expect a ton. Green Bay's defense is pretty good, more so on the back end. But I am in very deep leagues. I'm picking up Chris Brooks. He was just elevated from the practice squad. He is the RB3 there for the next month at least. And the guy can play. It's possible that they give him some touches. And if he looks good, he can get a small role.
I actually, talent-wise, I would say Walker. I don't think I am now. What's the matchup for Seattle?
Miami.
Seattle?
They're playing Miami. I'm firing Walker.
I'm playing Walker. Yep.
No, but...
I'm playing Charbonnet over Pollard.
Yeah, but Pollard's actually he's got 17 or he's got 18 and 20 points in 2 games. So he's been a high end 2 or a low end 1. And I worry not so like if you told me Walker's going to make it through the whole game, I'm all in. It's Walker. But how many times have we seen this where someone comes back, he plays the first series, and then it's like, oh, he re-aggravated and he's out. I think Pollard's the safe play. If you need the ceiling and you got to roll the dice, go Walker. But I think I'd go Pollard unless I had to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Charbonnet rank the highest of these guys, but yeah, I'm with you. I think we need to pay attention to the practice reports. It's too early in the week to know.
I don't think he played, so I don't think
he does either. So that's what we got to pay attention to.
Yeah. Wide receivers in this game, we've got a collection of guys that are scary to start up. I'm probably firing up Reed as a high end 3, low end 2. The rest for me on Green Bay are just streamable. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I have Ridley as a low end 2, a high end 3. Ridley, I think I have it ranked Reed highest and then Ridley, but they're both on the 2-3 border for me. I can play Ridley. I'll play Reed, Hopkins, Dobbs, the rest of them. I don't really want anything to do with Hopkins, but I'll take Dobbs and Watson as a dart throw. But really, with these quarterbacks, I want Reed. I want Ridley. I don't really want anyone else.
All right. The difference
is
we've seen Willis. We know the difference. Willis can support. He can do stuff with Ridley. With Willis, they're throwing it maybe 20 times a game, if that. It's gonna be so hard. I'm not starting a Packers wide receiver until we get the freaking Jordan Love back. I don't want to do it with the Packers wide receiver, so I'll do Ridley. He'll be wide receiver 28.
I need a shower after complimenting him.
Yeah, it's glorious. It just feels good.
Reed was a top 3 wide receiver overall in week 1. He didn't do much. He only saw 2 targets last week. So I just don't want to bank on it. I know they use him elsewhere. They're going to give him end arounds. They're going to give that sort of stuff. But he was only playing a kind of a mediocre Indianapolis defense. Now he faces Tennessee. They at least have pieces on that defense all over the field. I just don't want anything to do with Reed or any Packers wide receiver. I think you could maybe start Willis. LaFleur puts him in good situations. Otherwise, no. On the other end, fire up Ridley.
And I'm looking at the tight ends. I think Kraft, Musgrave, Okonkwo, I'd like to stash in Dynasty, but I'm not starting them. Having said that, I think I'm willing to fire up Ridley, Reed if I have to. Other than that, it's Jacobs and Pollard for me that I'm willing to start. I don't really want anyone else in my aside from my flex for Ridley, I don't want anyone in my starting lineup besides Jacobs and Pollard. This game's ugly. There's going to be low pass volume, lots of turnovers. I think I don't really want any part of this game aside from the 2 options there.
Yeah, if Love was the quarterback, you could talk me into Kraft, but with Willis, no. He's running the routes and doing the role, but just no thanks. So I'm good on the tight ends.
All right. Bringing us to our next game, Chicago at Indianapolis. These games fucking suck. Do we have any good teams? What happened to all the good teams? Ugh.
These are
supposed to be Caleb Williams against Anthony Richardson. This matchup doesn't look as sexy as it once did. I'm still firing up Richardson as a QB1. He's been okay. He hasn't been great. Caleb, I am leaving on my bench for the likes of Baker and Derek Carr. Yikes.
Gino.
Yeah, Gino. Obviously, I think JT's a must start at running back. Swift, I guess, is a maybe start, but I don't really want any of this Bears backfield. I think the receivers are where it's at. Pittman's the one I'm still starting. I don't know what the hell's going on. He's getting the targets. They're not good targets, and they're not leading to yards. The rest of them, Downs, Mitchell, Pierce, it seems like Downs hopefully is healthy. Pierce has been the guy I think I would target. Mitchell has had some issues with bad drops and bad penalties, and I think he's slowly losing time here and is getting himself benched. I think he still needs some development. The Bears side, I guess you're firing up DJ Moore. Keenan Allen is another guy where I'd like to see Keenan Allen get through a game healthy before I play him. Roma Dunze did a little bit in his absence, but not much. And the tight ends are used. I have to start Pittman. You're starting Moore, start Taylor, start Rich. Where do you guys want to start with this one?
So there's a lot of guys that were lower on, I think, from where we started. I don't have Taylor's top 12 back again this week. I'm just worried about Jonathan Taylor in general, so he's lower for me. Pittman, the struggles with Anthony Richardson throwing it downfield are really killing Pittman in his efficiency because he's pushing the ball downfield. That's why Pierce is having these deep shots. Pittman's kind of just left, just doing little middling things. DJ Moore is the best wide receiver in this game right now until Roma Dunze proves it. So you fire up DJ Moore and you see what you do. But it's kind of rough with these offenses struggling. So
can we talk about this for a sec? I like Bowers. I think you maybe have overpaid. I would have given up one of the receivers in Pitts for Bowers, I think. I don't know if you necessarily he got Bowers, right? Yeah, I don't know if I would have given up both Worthy and Flowers.
I don't mind.
That's
it.
a lot. I
I
like
don't mind
Bowers,
it
but that's a
either.
lot.
It is
It's
a lot. It is.
but like,
It's a ton, but I don't care.
You're getting the guy that everybody fucking loves, so you could probably sell him for even more in like 2 months. Like it's just, it's fine. I don't mind it at all. So I get it. I don't. If you have the depth,
and I'm super high on Xavier Worthy as a player and his landing spot. I've been pretty high on Zay Flowers. I like what he's done so far this year. I was low on Bowers on his landing spot, and I still like this deal. Like, this is the deal you have to go out and make if you want Brock Bowers. Now you have Bowers and Pitts. If Pitts goes off in the next few weeks, sell him for what people think that Pitts is worth. Keep your tight end one in Dynasty and profit.
Back to a game we already talked about. David Njoku unlikely to play as per PFT. Pierce, I think Pierce is a wide receiver, high end 3 moving forward. Like I said, it looks like Downs is never healthy, and it looks like AD Mitchell has some development issues. He needs some growing there. So I think that's going to be one where you're not going to see as much of him. I think Pierce is good.
Here's the nice thing with the wide receivers on Indianapolis. There's no tight end who's going to siphon away targets, and there's no running back who's going to siphon away targets. So you have probably 2 viable wide receivers here where you should only have one in a low volume passing offense. We assume it's Michael Pittman. It hasn't been so far. I don't mind taking a shot on Alec Pierce as the weekly 2. I still think it's Mitchell over time, but Pierce right now, you can flex him.
The issue is the Bears secondary is really, really good. So this is going to be this is the problem for these guys this week. Like, they got some studs
this week. Yes.
So yeah, you're gonna need like a basically broken play for Pierce, which he had in week 1, where it's just a bomb. It was like perfect. Like, you're gonna need something like that for Pierce. It's super risky, but yeah, you could shoot the moon with him if you really want to.
This one here, if you are dropping a first round wide receiver 2 weeks into the season, you're a moron. This happened with I'm not saying he's Justin Jefferson, but how many people dropped Justin Jefferson after week 4, and then it was like, oh shit, he's the wide receiver 1 at the end of the year. You're an idiot if you dropped him. So yeah, stash him, pick him up, stash him.
Jamie. You got a good wide receiver. It's just
that guy's a moron. If you're
dropping, you got to pitch for rookies. They're second half plays. Like, this is what people need to realize. Second half plays for rookies, unless you get like the Brock Bowers of the world. Most of them are second half plays. So just like, give it time, be patient.
So is there anything like, I guess the Bears running backs? Are you running backs and receivers not named DJ Moore? Are you really looking to start any of Odunze, Allen, Swift, Herbert, Roschon if he plays?
0.
I don't even want to play. Like, you could flex Swift, you could do it, but like the problem is the offensive line has been abysmal. Like, the yards before contact are disgusting. I think he has more yards after contact than total yards. Like, that's how Swift's doing it on his own, and Swift's not that good of a running back, so it's really hard.
One other guy, I'm in a spot where I have to do this in a couple of dynasty leagues because of injuries. It's gross. You can take a swing on Cole Kmet. The usage is bad. Gerald Everett is getting stuff, but especially with Keenan Allen expected to be out or at least limited in this game, with Rome not doing much, I don't mind the shot on Cole Kmet. He was okay last week. But yeah, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel if you have to do that. I have to do that in a few dynasty leagues.
Yeah. So. As excited as we were for tight ends, it's fucking abysmal by week 3 already.
It really is.
It's really Bowers and McBride and nothing else, dude. It's so bad.
DeAndre Swift, though, being put in a position to have lots of contact. That's a winning formula. I'm sure it'll go well.
Great.
You have the most injury-prone running back in NFL history in high contact scenarios.
Shane Waldron should be jailed. That man.
I said this yesterday. This is why the Seahawks sucked last year.
This is Adam Gase 2.0, but I can't even point to any reason why Shane Waldron was given these jobs. At least Adam Gase had Peyton Manning propping him up. I have no idea what's going on with Shane Waldron. Why he must have dirt on.
You're too kind. You're being too kind. You said jailed yesterday. I said executed. Yeah. So
I mean, we'll just yeet him to the moon. How about that?
That's it.
All right.
I would actually try to do this because the difference is one guy has Stroud, one guy has Caleb Williams right now. Wait, no, for take Dell.
No, I want Dell. I want Dell.
Yeah, like it's just a safer bet. Like, I would just keep Dell. I get it. He's like, his usage is good. He's like one of the most unlucky wide receivers in the NFL right now. It will come back. So be patient with him. It's okay. If you're looking to move him, like looking for a position, because you have Lamb, Rice, and Marvin Harrison Jr., go find a different position, running back or tight end or like something else, like upgrade quarterback, go do that.
Jaden Daniels already has 2 rushing touchdowns, does he not? Are we talking about the rookie QBs who haven't scored?
Yeah,
Yeah,
passing.
because Drake May.
No rookie QB. No rookie QB has a passing touchdown.
Drake May, number 1, baby, on the bench. It's beautiful.
Can I say JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, he's side too.
He may not play. He won't play till next year, but it still might be him.
It's just it's
all right.
It's got to be Caleb. It's got to be.
You would hope, but
we hope so.
Chargers at Steelers here. Herbert, another quarterback I'm looking to bench for Baker and Derek Carr and Geno. Good God.
Is he playing?
Justin Fields, who I think is pretty much unstartable. You're getting 10 to 12 points here because he no longer runs the ball. He doesn't really throw the ball, and he's ultra conservative. That's winning formula there for fantasy. These are 2, I would imagine, of the most run-heavy offenses here. It's all Dobbins and Edwards. It's all Najee and Warren. It's a mess, though, because it looks like both of these are splits. The receivers, I prefer Quentin Johnston than Ladd McConkey. I know a lot of you guys are McConkey. Pickens, I think, isn't getting enough volume because Fields isn't throwing. That's a problem. And Freiermuth, like we talked about with, you said Kmet. Freiermuth is getting 4 catches, 4 targets, 40 yards. That's probably tight end 8 on the season. So this is ugly, I guess. The quarterbacks aren't really worth talking about because you're not starting them outside of Superflex unless something's gone horribly wrong. I guess we talk running backs here. Dobbins, Edwards, Najee, Warren. Thoughts?
Sure. I'll talk about there's like one thing on the quarterbacks. They're both running a lot. Like Fields and Herbert are both running a lot. So you can talk about it. But like
for their lives. They're running for their lives.
It's 21 pass attempts a game for Fields. It's 23 for Herbert. They're not passing either in like LA. So like this is the issue with those wide receivers. So yeah, it's the running backs that are the most important by far. And like we're seeing J.K. Dobbins go nuclear because of that. Like it's just super efficiency, really good pass block or run blocking.
The problem is though they're not actually rushing. They're both having 6 or 7, 8 rush attempts per game. It's just each running back's getting 15 carries a game is what they're doing.
Right, but like if you told me Fields was gonna be running this much, I'd be like, "Oh, wheels up," and then it's like, no, never mind.
Not working out.
For me, I want J.K. Dobbins well over Gus Edwards. Dobbins is my one of these 4 backs. Then it goes Najee, Warren, and then a massive gap, and then another massive gap, and then a third massive gap, and then Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is getting the ridiculous amount of volume that we want to see, but we saw this happen last year. We saw him score 13 touchdowns, and he was still barely back-end RB2. You just don't want to start Gus Edwards. You're hoping for 10 to 12 points. And if he doesn't get in the end zone, he's not going to give it to you. So I just can't do Gus Edwards anymore. He's sitting on my bench. I'm probably he's a cut candidate for me. I don't care what the matchup is. I want all of the J.K. Dobbins until he gets hurt. It's his backfield by far.
Yeah, like you want the touchdown from Edwards, but the thing is, like they're all splitting work very similarly. Like we saw week 2, Pittsburgh is doing exactly what freaking LA is doing, where it's kind of so like. At some point, Dobbins is going to come down because you cannot be this efficient. Like he's breaking every possible metric. We're talking like 9 yards a carry. Like that's NFL record.
Always has been.
He has been very good.
He's always done it.
You know? He's very good. Like I'm not saying he's not going to be very good, but this is similar like what Javon H. was doing last year as a running back. Like you're seeing just stupid stuff from them. That it's really hard to be this efficient. And like particularly an offense that's not that good. So, like, I would not be shocked to see teams absolutely loading like 8 men in the box against the Chargers because you gotta beat them. I'd be like, dude, beat me some other way. Like, I get it. It's just it's rough. But yeah, Dobbins by far the top one.
Ranking the wide receivers here is not fun. I'm compelled to say George Pickens first because he has no competition. Yeah. He also has no pass volume. So I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm gonna go QJ, Pickens, McConkey, Palmer. Oh,
spicy. I don't hate it.
I think QJ's a league winner.
Yeah, like Pickens' role, what he's gonna do. Like QJ and McConkey, I think are kind of gonna go back and forth each week, where it's gonna be a little up and down. Well, Palmer's injured, so like when Palmer comes back, that throws another wrench into this whole mix of those guys. Pickens has been unlucky too, not as unlucky as Amari Cooper, but he had a offense pass interference. He had a touchdown that was negated. He had a couple things that went wrong last week where we'd be viewing it differently. So Pickens is a borderline top 20 wide receiver. Like I have these guys like all top 30, 35, where it's just like pick your favorite Chargers wide receiver for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Pickens, but I don't hate the call, Aaron. And with QJ, He's getting the usage so far. Sometimes with some of these guys who come into the league and they just face a bad situation, all they need is a little bit of confidence. He's had 2 good games in a row. He could string it together. So I'm a fan of throwing a few bucks on him and taking the shot. I mean, he's picked up now. But if you got him for like $5-6 off the waiver wire this morning, then, I don't mind, stashing him, seeing what he does. And it's possible he could be, a cute wide receiver 3 for you all season. The volume's low, but he's looking good so far.
Yeah, it's just I watched the condensed game of that where they cut out all the shit you don't need to see. And it's like he always had the size and the speed, but I see that it looks like it's an even target distribution. But when you watch the game, there's plays where you can tell it's like not the Debo role because he's not a running back type, but you can tell where just the way Herbert looks, the play is designed to go to QJ. He's not looking anywhere else. Like even when he throws the McConkey, it's not always it's McConkey on like the second read when he can't get it to Johnston. Johnston, it just seems like is his first read and they're scheming him up. And that's why I think he's less volatile than the rest. But in the end, it's kind of still the same where it's going to be whoever scores the touchdown is the best one there. The tight ends, I guess we're okay firing up Freiermuth if we have to.
Oof.
That's about it.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a similar, like, he's just not running enough routes. It's the issue with him. So it's like similar to Hurst on the other side. Like, pick your guy you want to tight end to get a touchdown. That's what we're talking about with these guys.
Yeah, and I think Darnell Washington was the one who got the touchdown last week as well, right? So, Arthur Smith being and doing Arthur Smith things.
Yes.
Surprise.
How is it possible that each game gets uglier than the last? Like, are there no good teams? Carolina and the Raiders. How bad are you when you're 5.5 point dog to the Raiders?
Blowout incoming. Blowout.
Yeah, this is where you sell Zamir White high after this game. So we go, oh my God. It's 2024. We have Andy Dalton against Gardner Minshew.
Let's go. Let's go. Ginger versus the Pirate.
Oh, yeah. Stream Raiders D. Yes. I bet I haven't done my column yet, but I bet you they're on my list of 3 to stream.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Dalton will race before.
Go get them right now.
So we're not talking quarterback here because you're not playing either quarterback. Hopefully you're not playing either running backs because it's Chubbard and Sanders, Zamir White and Madison. You know who my most started player in this backfields are? Raheem Blackshear, because I looked and I have 7 leagues that count punt return yards, and he's like 40 points a game in those. But in normal leagues, I'm not touching him. Who do you want to start here? If you had to start one, it's got to be Zamir White, he said confidently. I don't know. Who is it?
It's got to be.
Gun to your head. You choose the bullet?
Man. It's rough. Like, yes, but like, Hubbard
yes to the bullet, right?
Take the bullet. I mean, the answer is none of the above. Like, for real. Like,
no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Stop cheating.
Well. Listen. Here's the better question. Are you comfortable starting someone like Deontay Johnson and flexing him over like a Zamir White with Andy Dalton now in the starting seat in Carolina?
I will flex Calvin Ridley over these 4 with confidence.
Yes.
That tells you it. Sure. That tells you how low I am here.
I would play Pickens over those guys as well too.
Yeah.
But okay, so Deontay's an interesting question because Deontay looks like shit. But with the red rocket or red rifle, what is it? Red rifle? I don't know what the fuck his name is.
Red rifle's back, baby, in town. You could fire up Deontay because you know what Andy Dalton does. He gives you capable offensive production. He'll boost this offense. It'll be a little bit better. It's still gonna be a disaster. But like Deontay has a ridiculous target share and usage. The offense sucks. I'm not trading for McBride. He has Tyler. Like McBride's my tight end 1 this year, so I'm keeping McBride. But yes, everyone else. Yeah,
agreed.
I would trade Laporta for Bowers for certain.
I think it's a plus one.
I don't hate trading McBride for Bowers. I think it's fine.
Define buying. No. Define buying. What's the cost? Is the cost Miles Sanders?
Sure. Okay. Yes. Then yes. But what's the upside buying Bryce Young? What's the upside? Does he get the job back? Is he get started somewhere else?
No. You go Zach Wilson and you hope he gets 1 start and it's decent enough that you can sell him for a second rounder and get some capital back is what it is at this point.
Agree.
Yes. Like, and to this
when
question,
Brooks comes back, do you think
yeah.
Carolina gets slightly better?
Like-
Well, they might get worse.
he gets the volume. That's what we're chasing with like Brooks is he gets the volume that these guys are kind of splitting. You're putting it into one running back. And even in bad offenses, like we're seeing with Stevenson, because he's getting so much volume, those guys are valuable. Like obviously it's gonna take a while to get there, but that's the thing.
Question. They get to week 8 and they think he's kind of ready to play and they're 0-8 or 1-7. Maybe they shut him down for the season and just say, fuck it, let him rehab.
They could, but teams don't do that. Like it's so rare for teams to actually do that.
Yeah, but
like we talked about this with Jefferson last year, right? Like they're gonna shut him down, and they brought him back, even though it was the end of the year and they were out of the season. Like they didn't.
Yeah,
like,
teams are stupid.
Really hard to protect it.
I agree, but players want to play, right? And
Yeah,
we know
that's the
Brooks isn't going to be 100% himself until next season. We're aware of this. We just want to see him look good and be able to get the opportunity. But yeah, I think Dalton makes this offense capable. And it helps them kind of move the ball into field goal range. And so they can actually have a chance at some of these guys and they can hold on to the ball. But that defense is so atrocious, they're going to have to chuck it. And I'd much prefer betting on Andy Dalton chucking the football to Deontay than Bryce Young.
If I can sell Young and get me a second-round pick in return, I'm doing it. There's no way I'm buying him for that. I'm hoping to buy him low in hopes I can flip him for a second-rounder.
Yeah, like I wouldn't spend a second, but I would send some roster fodder type players for him. Sure.
Thielen's been their number 1 receiver through 2 weeks, hasn't he? You don't have to bring him back. He's already there.
He's not really running route. It's just ugly. Like Deontay's been their best quote unquote receiver, like separation stuff, but like even target share through the roof. But it doesn't matter because the offense has been so bad. So it's just like, if I can get a first,
Deontay has twice as many targets as Thielen.
Yeah,
I don't think you can.
Deontay's been good. The offense has just been abysmal. Like
I don't think you can sell Adams. Just wait till later. If you're out of it, sell him to a contender for twice what he's worth now.
I would see what you can get for him right now because he just went off. But yeah, like you're probably not going to get first one.
Okay, so this
contender,
game,
2 seconds.
You're starting out of all these players. We're in single QB here. You're firing up Adams as a 1 or a 2. You're starting Bowers as a top 2 or 3. You're not starting anyone else unless you absolutely have to break glass in case of emergency, basically, or
Deontay, if you have to.
Yeah, I'll flex Deontay.
If you have
by the way, I have Chubb 2 spots above Zamir White, so suck it, Zamir. You're staying on my bench, buddy. I'm not playing you. He's probably going to get 20 points. He's probably going to get 20 points this week. That's how it's going to go.
Feels like a trap. Reminds me of Jigsaw. He set an NFL record, and that's something most people don't. The record, most passing attempts without hitting 100 yards. That's impressive. Trade away Barkley for those 3. I guess if you need the depth, but you're giving away one player who's probably worth the other 3 himself.
Yeah, like it's Barkley's good, man. The weird thing is
if you're decimated by injury and these 3 are going to go in your lineup, you can make the deal. Otherwise, I'm keeping Barkley.
Well, yeah, Devonta Smith is going to be really good. Like Barkley's last in the running backs and missed tackles force. Like it's a little concerning. Like he's not been the best running back, but he's just balling out because of his usage.
Yeah. And Ingram played all of week 1 against Miami, who's just okay in pass defense. He only saw 4 targets, caught 1 ball. Brian Thomas was much better than he was. Christian Kirk, not good, but better. So, yeah, Evan Ingram, I don't know if it's going to happen for him this year. And Travis Etienne and Bigsby when he's healthy, that runs through the run game in that offense.
Yeah, it's Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy I want in that passing attack.
Let's transition to that perfectly. The first of the 2 Monday Nighters, Jags and Bills. So Josh Allen, you're obviously starting. Trevor Lawrence. I've actually seen Trevor Lawrence drop this week. That's scary.
Yeah, in that league, I saw it too.
Yeah, you've got 2 studs, I think, at running backs. At least I would say low-end RB1s at worst. You've got some interesting receiving options, 2 underperforming tight ends. There's a lot here. What do you guys feel comfortable starting with?
I mean, are you guys dropping Josh Allen at all from like the truly elite quarterbacks in redraft? Because he's really high. Like I still have him right there. I'm debating where to put him, but he's like QB2 for me.
Everyone else has been bad. How can you drop him?
That's the thing.
He'll be the QB1 again this week. Jacksonville defense has been atrocious. Their back end is still terrible. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have weapons. He's going to do it again himself this week. He just, he had a hiccup last week. That's fine. Mea culpa. He's going to be QB1 again. So no.
100%.
But like you look, even when he underperforms, the QBs in his range weren't doing it. Like Jalen Hurts was good this week, but
Yes.
Mahomes,
He's struggling.
Richardson, Stroud, like everyone's been average. What are you going to do? Bump them below Carr and Baker? Like we're not going there. So
No. I think
you
people
can't.
are like putting him as like quarterback 5.
Yeah,
now,
you can't move him down. He's still probably maybe if you want to move him below Hurts and go Hurts at 1, I guess.
I feel much safer about that offense than I do the Bills offense.
Yeah. The running backs here, we're all confident firing up Cook and Bigsby or ETN. I mean, Bigsby, is anybody considering Bigsby? He didn't look great last week. Did he leave injured? Shoulder injury.
He got hurt. He might not. He's probably not going to play.
Oh, so it's 2 of them you got to fire up, and then nobody else at running back, basically.
Yeah, I think Cook's a must start. ETN is like he's an RB2 for me. Like the usage isn't great. He's not efficient. Like it's kind of iffy for ETN, and they're trying to like take away a little bit of usage where it's just a better environment for Cook to be good, and Cook's just a good running back. So like personally, I have Cook. I'm starting him for sure. ETN like depends on my roster, but I'll probably start him.
Okay, we're gonna play a game here, and it's gonna be 7 players. We're gonna assume Evan Engram is healthy for this one. Assuming he's healthy, you get to rank Engram, Kincaid, Coleman, Shakir, and the 3 Jags receivers. So who are you looking to start? Say you're flexing, combining all the pass catchers in here. I think it's BTJ for me, and then the two tight ends.
You could do Shakir, or as gross as it sounds, you can do Gabe Davis as well. Like Gabe Davis has been fine. It's just Gabe Davis, so you can put up a 0 each week. So you just gotta have to live with it. I think you could do Shakir if you wanted to. I don't really want to though.
BTJ is electric, but this Bills defense has been much improved. I mean, DeMar Hamlin is almost back to form, which is insane to think about. I mean, the Bills are missing their starting middle linebacker and Taron Johnson, who's like a safety nickel. So those 2 guys being out is going to affect this defense a little bit. But they've still been awesome. They're getting a ton of pressure, and BTJ needs to have, Lawrence needs to have time to find BTJ deep down the field. So I would go with Shakir and Kincaid over BTJ this week.
Well, this should be an Ingram Kirk game, but like it's not going to be just based on
Agree.
BTJ is scary here. He's got 4 targets, 12 yards per catch. Last week, 4 targets. 47 yards.
He's a stud. He is a stud.
So you just got to trust it. It's going to come with BTJ. It's going to come.
He's not going to put up 47 yards per catch. So how long can he at 4 targets per game? How long can he sustain 47 yards per target?
Well, you think they would see what was going on with him and consistently winning, they'd start throwing him the ball more. So we'll see. Yeah, you could pick up Strange, but I'm not going to play Strange. I'm not going to play him. Yeah. Like I'm not doing that. That's just
St. Brown and Ford for ETN, Adams and London. Oof. I think I make this deal at this point because I think St. Brown is slightly better. He's better than Adams, but not terribly better. It's close. And I think you're getting ETN in London I'd have over Ford. So that's the difference for me. So I take the 3.
Yep. It's just hard moving off a truly elite player like Amon-Ra.
No, I know.
That's the thing. So I would do this if I needed depth. If I didn't need depth, I'm just keeping Amon-Ra. Like because like London's had issues, Adams has quarterback issues. I get it. Like he's not going to be, and then ETN, I'm just not a big fan of. So that's how I do it.
All righty. I think we can wrap that one up, and we'll conclude it with the other Monday nighter. Why do we have 2 Monday nighters? Don't we normally do that week 1? Why do we have a second Monday nighter in week 3 of the season? That makes no sense. But it is Commanders at Bengals. Did you notice so far in these AFC games, that's 8 of them, all 8 the home team is favored? That's interesting. It's not a great week for road teams, which means they'll all win. We have Jaden Daniels, who I think is in the QB1 mix here. That's kind of saying how bad QB1 has been, but he's been okay. Burrow, he looked all right last week, but that offense scares me. Both these kind of scare me. We got Brian Robinson, who I think is probably an RB2. Zach Moss, RB2-3. We've got some, wide receivers here. Where do you guys even want to begin with this? The quarterbacks, I guess, they're the high-end assets in the game.
Yeah, you got to play both. Like Burrow gets the Commanders defense, like fire Burrow up. This defense is atrocious. Like he did good against Chiefs defense, man. So like it's like, okay, at least there's hope for Burrow. It really depends on how high you guys want to rank Jamar Chase, but like overall,
you take the trade then, and if that's your scenario.
Yeah, like that's fine. I'm fine doing that. Yeah, running extra week.
Burrow is my QB2 this week because it's Washington. So he's going to go off. Maybe he gets T. Higgins back. Maybe he doesn't. But that cycle of whatever they had going on at tight end with Gesicki and Eric All and whoever else is healthy back there running routes is worth it. And maybe Burton gets more involved because the Bengals should be up early and often.
Running backs, B-Rob first, Zach Moss second, leaving Eckler and Chase Brown on the bench. Something like that.
You could talk yourself into Eckler with his like passing down usage, but like it's a pure flex desperation play with Eckler because it's not high enough usage, right? But he's getting it. Brown, I'm not playing Brown. Like he's not just doing nothing. It's
He's
literally
a
Chase
stash
Brown.
dynasty.
Yeah.
I will flex Eckler in this game. I think he's necessary in the passing game. He's going to see another 5 targets, and if he puts one in the end zone, he's got 50 yards a game and through the air. So.
I think for me, this depends on if Higgins plays. I think if Higgins is out, I'm starting Gesicki. I think I'm starting Gesicki anyways. Ertz, it's going to be 4 for 40. Gesicki could be 4 for 40, but he could also be 9 for 90 like last week. So I think I'm just going to take Gesicki, even more so if Higgins is out.
Yeah, like it's just the weird thing about their tight ends is they're just running through them. Like it's a mixed bag for tight ends. So it's like I get it. The defense is atrocious. I just have a hard time trusting one of those tight ends. Maybe it's
the Chiefs.
I just don't know.
The Chiefs have signed Keontae Ingram to the active roster, Kareem Hunt to the practice squad, and Isaiah Pacheco on IR.
Why don't people go pick up? People should go pick up Ingram if he's actually on the active roster. Like go
active roster.
They moved him
go
up.
Pick up Keontae and see what happens. Like that's what we're doing with these backs in the ring. It's a really good offense. Go pick him up.
So I guess we ended here with the wide receivers in this one. I know he's been pretty damn bad, but it's got to be what? Chase, Higgins if he plays McLaurin, and nobody else?
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is because there's nobody else. There is nobody else. Like you're not starting Diami, you're not starting Burton. You can't. You just hold your nose and start McLaurin if you have to. But no, I want Chase clearly and then Higgins if he plays.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is, right? Like these guys, but yeah, we need McLaurin to do something. It's just I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty much done with McLaurin. Like, oh yeah, I need to see it. I need to see it one of these times, man. Like, I get it. It's just gonna be rough with him. Like, he's like a 45. I have him ranked. Like, I really don't want to play him, but you can play him if you need to. Like,
if I told you McLaurin had 8 targets and 6 receptions last week, you would assume that he had what? 45 yards at least at minimum, 50 yards, 22 yards last week. But don't worry, week 1, he had 17 yards. So no, you can't start Terry right now. You can't.
It's those screens, man. They have the highest screen rate in the NFL, and it's not even close. It's like triple everyone else. It's Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
But who can run a screen? Austin Eckler. Start Eckler instead of McLaurin.
The side that
who are we starting, McLaurin or Eckler?
McLaurin.
McLaurin, but I don't want to start either of these guys, to tell you the truth. Like, if we're starting these guys, I feel really bad about my roster. I'm just gonna say that right now. Like, I'll be like, ooh, my roster's in some doo-doo.
The side that worries me more is Cincy. If we don't get a blow-up week here from Burrow and Chase, it might be time to worry. Like, I know they were all right last week, but this is Washington. If you don't have 30 fantasy points apiece here, it's not a good week.
Yeah, They like Burrow was good last week against the Chiefs defense, so I'm much like Chase's usage is what worries me. Like what they're doing is he's different than he used to be. He was downfield merchant when he was a rookie. Now he's like short, like low. I don't know what they're doing with him. It's very weird. So they need to figure it out. But they got to get Chase the ball because he was furious.
Fighting his teammates on the sideline.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'll fight anybody. Just throw this man 20 targets. Don't even care about the rest of the guys on that team.
Are you flexing Yoshivas if Higgins is out? I'm definitely flexing.
You can, but that usage last week gross. That his usage was real bad as tight end.
Usage in the red zone is pretty sweet, to be honest.
It's so gross.
I'm not chasing the 2 touchdowns, although against Washington there could be 8 touchdowns this week, so there are worse options, I guess.
I'll fire a shot on Burton if I'm really desperate. Like if Higgins doesn't play. Because he could break an 80-yard touchdown against Washington. Yeah. Like, he's that type of player. So, it's just all about routes.
All right. I guess that's a wrap on the AFC home games. Check back tomorrow at noon. Well, we will. Do you guys like B-Rob over ETN? No.
I'm debating. I'm getting really close to it.
No, B-Rob.
I think they're close, but I have ETN higher.
It's getting closer by the week. So I'll see the usage. I might flip them after this week.
All right, that's a wrap on the AFC home games. Check back tomorrow at noon. We will do the NFC home games. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow.